Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bold Beautiful Diaries. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Bold and the Beautiful fans are growing increasingly weary of the never-ending Taylor, Ridge, and Brooke triangle. So the question on everyone's mind is, have the writers finally heard the message and decided it's time for a real shakeup? With tensions brewing and emotions running high, Forrester may be on the verge of losing not one, but both Brooke and Taylor. As the drama unfolds following the trip to Naples, everything could change. Right now, Brooke Logan, Nick Marone, and Forrester are all in Italy. Brooke and Ridge are overseas representing Forrester Creations for a major fashion show. Meanwhile, Nick is there to oversee some important shipping matters for his family's business. But he's clearly got more than logistics on his mind. According to Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, Captain Nick is planning something big. He's pulling out all the stops to wow Brooke with a jaw-dropping proposal. That's right, he may be ready to ask for her hand in marriage once again. Word is, when Nick pops the question, it suddenly dawns on Ridge that he's not ready to let Brooke go. He starts to see what he's about to lose and scrambles to make her reconsider. But Brooke has made it clear, she's done with the back and forth. She's ready to move on with her life. Nick's proposal could come at exactly the right moment. And based on how things are shaping up, there's a real possibility Brooke might say yes. If she does, it's going to hit Ridge hard. According to the latest spoilers, Ridge will be deeply affected by the news, and there's no hiding how crushed he'll be. Let's face it, watching someone unravel over their ex isn't attractive, and Taylor Hayes might feel the same way. She's supported Ridge for years. But if he returns from Italy distraught over Brooke and Nick's engagement, that might be her breaking point. It's possible Taylor will decide she's had enough. She may choose to walk away once and for all, especially if Ridge proves, yet again, that he's still emotionally tied to Brooke. If Ridge isn't careful and doesn't start making some clear choices, he could find himself alone. Taylor won't wait around forever, and Brooke may finally be choosing a future that no longer includes him. The Naples trip might mark a pivotal turning point for all three characters. Ridge could soon learn that love triangles don't always end with a happy reunion. Sometimes, they end with everyone walking away. The Bold and the Beautiful reveals that Sheila Carter grew increasingly suspicious of Lee Finnegan and what she might be hiding. Meanwhile, Brooke Logan had enough and walked out on Forrester in dramatic fashion. Over at Il Giardino, Sheila kept pressing Lee for a chance to say a final goodbye to Luna Nozawa. She wondered if there was anywhere she could go to pay her respects. Lee, however, shut Sheila down immediately. She insisted there was nothing left for Sheila to do and ultimately left the restaurant without her takeout, having completely lost her appetite. Later, Sheila confided in Deacon Sharp, sharing how tense Lee had been during their interaction. Something clearly wasn't sitting right with Sheila. She couldn't quite put her finger on it, but she could feel something was wrong. Back at the hospital, Lee returned to Luna's bedside and was disheartened to see that her condition remained unchanged. Lee took a moment to reflect on Luna's childhood and the emotional challenges she faced growing up. She acknowledged that Luna had never truly experienced a real bond with Poppy Nozawa, Romy Park, as a mother. But Lee made it clear she was stepping up now. She was there for Luna and urged her to fight, hoping she'd open her eyes. Meanwhile, over at Forrester Creations, Spencer thought Electra Forrester should be the one representing the company at the upcoming fashion event in Italy, claiming she'd be the most stunning model on the scene. Electra tried to brush off the praise, but conversation quickly shifted to Luna and the upheaval she'd recently caused. Though Electra didn't want to speak poorly of someone who was in such a dire situation, argued they were just being honest. From his perspective, Luna was no longer a threat, and he seemed relieved by that. Across the ocean in Capri, tensions escalated between Brooke and Ridge. Brooke was fed up with smiling for photos and fielding awkward questions about Ridge's engagement to Taylor Hayes. Eventually, Brooke reached her breaking point. She voiced her frustration loud and clear and told Ridge she was done playing along. Brooke then turned her attention to Nick Marone, drawn in by the way he looked at her, with genuine passion and single-minded desire. Unlike Ridge, who continued to bounce between her and Taylor, Nick seemed sure of what he wanted, and that was Brooke. Even after facing Forrester's stern warning to keep his distance, Nick didn't back down. He sought Brooke out, clearly upset by how much Ridge had hurt her. Nick made an emotional plea for Brooke to break the cycle and leave the emotional back and forth behind for good. He held out his hand, offering a different path forward, one filled with clarity and commitment. Sheila Carter is never one to overlook a gut feeling, and Thursday's episode proved she's more alert than ever. While tensions continue to rise between Sheila and Lee Finnegan, Sheila begins to sense that Lee isn't being entirely honest about something major, possibly involving Finn or something even more personal. Their already strained dynamic took on a darker tone as Sheila observed Lee's subtle deflections and guarded expressions. The two women had an unusually tense exchange at the hospital, where Lee appeared jittery, overly formal, and strangely avoidant. Sheila immediately clocked the change in her demeanor and began to connect that no one else seems willing to acknowledge. Lee tried to shut down the conversation quickly, brushing off Sheila's probing questions, but her evasiveness only fueled Sheila's growing suspicion. Sheila later confided in Deacon, revealing her instincts are rarely wrong. She believes Lee is hiding something important, and if she's right, that secret could impact Finn and their entire family. Sheila's protective instincts are mixing with her unpredictable side again, and that's always a dangerous combination. It's clear she's preparing to dig deeper into Lee's life, and with Sheila, nothing stays buried. In a heartbreaking moment for longtime fans, Brooke Logan made yet another painful decision about her relationship with Ridge Forrester. After a heated and emotional conversation at the Forrester estate, Brooke confronted Ridge about their never-ending cycle of love, betrayal, forgiveness, and heartbreak. This time, however, something was different. Brooke wasn't asking for understanding or resolution. She was saying goodbye. Their conversation began with Ridge trying to downplay the latest conflict, insisting they could work through it like they always have. But Brooke stood firm, acknowledging that while she will always love Ridge, she no longer wants to keep reliving the same emotional roller coaster. Brooke told Ridge that she needs to prioritize her own peace and well-being, even if that means letting go of a love that has defined much of her adult life. Ridge was visibly stunned, not used to Brooke being the one to walk away. He reminded her of all the good they've shared, but Brooke stayed resolute, walking out before he could talk her out of it. She later returned to her home and opened up to Hope about her decision. Hope, though surprised, supported her mother's choice and praised her for taking control of her own future. This moment may be a real turning point for Brooke, one where she finally breaks free from the emotional chains of Ridge and starts a new chapter. Elsewhere, Steffi and Finn continued to wrestle with the strain in their marriage, especially after the recent chaos involving Sheila. Although Finn promised Steffi that he is fully committed to her and their family, the trauma from Sheila's past actions continues to haunt their relationship. Steffi confessed to feeling like she's always waiting for the next shoe to drop. Despite Finn's reassurances, there's a growing distance between them, both emotionally and physically. Finn wants to move forward, but Steffi seems paralyzed by the fear that Sheila, or something else, will always threaten their happiness. Finn brought up the idea of seeking counseling to help work through the aftermath of Sheila's actions and rebuild their trust. Steffi didn't give a firm answer, but the idea is clearly weighing on her. If they can't reconnect soon, their marriage could suffer even more. Hope Logan and Thomas Forrester shared a brief but powerful scene where it became clear that despite everything, unresolved feelings still linger. Hope is trying to keep her focus on her children and her work, but Thomas remains a temptation, especially now that he's kept his distance and shown signs of personal growth. Thomas told Hope he still respects her boundaries but admitted he thinks about her often. Hope didn't respond directly, but her body language spoke volumes. While she may not be ready to jump into another relationship, especially after her divorce from Liam, there's a quiet chemistry that continues to simmer beneath the surface. Hope is also aware that being around Thomas too much could send mixed signals, especially when she's still processing the emotional fallout from her marriage ending. She's walking a tightrope between holding her independence and acknowledging the feelings that may still be there. Unexpectedly, Taylor Hayes made a brief but impactful appearance, catching Ridge by surprise. She came back from her humanitarian trip earlier than expected, and it quickly became clear she's heard rumblings about Brooke's recent decision. Taylor urged Ridge not to repeat the same mistakes of the past, reminding him that if he wants to be alone or with someone new, he needs to be clear about it. Ridge looked worn down and uncertain, and Taylor reminded him that clarity is kinder than confusion. Her words seemed to hit home, and Ridge was left to reflect on whether his own indecisiveness has caused more harm than good. Taylor's return could signal a renewed presence in the Forrester family drama, and possibly even reignite the triangle fans love to watch unfold. With Steffi and Finn struggling to regain their footing, and Hope and Thomas teetering on the edge of something new, every relationship on canvas is at a crossroads. And now that Taylor's back, the dynamic is shifting once again. In a pivotal moment, Brooke took Nick's hand and chose to leave with him. Ridge was left stunned and clearly not pleased as he watched her walk away. The bold and the beautiful hint that Brooke's journey is far from over. More twists, emotional revelations, and romantic entanglements are coming her way. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.